I don't want to ask you too much about Rayo because we already did that. But I do want to ask you this one question. What is Rayo going to be missing now that you're not going to be there for him?
I don't think he's not going to be missing anything. Like I said, I still support him. I wish him the best. Um, my biggest satisfaction is that I took him from 0 fights to a world title. And to me, man, I'm already a winner, man. I'm super satisfied, and doing that from nothing, it's unbelievable. So, he already knows what to do. He has all the skills to continue and maintain and capture other belts. No, I think he has it all. He just has to stay focused and keep working hard.
Listen, if you in that chat, I need y'all to throw a respect in for my man Senior. Look, this guy is willing to see his son make whatever changes in order to win. He ain't talking shit about somebody who he's no longer working with. A lot of respect to you, Senior, for sure.
Thank you. No, thank you, man. That's what it is. Like I said, man, you guys have no idea. By Valenzuela being a world champion, to me, it means everything in the world. Like I did it. I managed him and I took him there and against a great fighter, Pitbull. And that's a big satisfaction for me just to do that.
All right, let's switch the topic altogether. So I wanted to get your thoughts on this. I think I talked to you a little bit about the Lamont Roach tank thing when I saw you last. But last weekend, I was in upstate New York. There was a fight there with Shockey Foster, Robinson Conceição, Hobson Conceição. And I ran into Tim Bradley and I ran into Robert Garcia. When I ran into Tim Bradley, I asked him, I said, what do you think about this Tank Roach fight? And if you know Tim, he was very passionate. And he said, look, man, he said, he's starting to look like, to me, this is Tim speaking, a 30-year-old prospect, that he's got to do something. He's got to fight one of these top guys. Do you agree with Tim? Do you think he has a point? How do you see it, especially being in the game?
Like I said, man, I have a lot of respect for all the fighters. They're all trying to feed their families and get to a world title and do whatever. If they're fighting, they're still in. They have a good, really good opportunity to be in top. I will watch that fight. Like I said, I don't know them, to be honest with you. I don't know how they train or whatever. But if that fight happens, I want to see that fight. To be honest, I mean, it's all about being dedicated and working hard for those opportunities that you get in life. And who knows, maybe he can make a big upset or something like that. But you never know until you fight him. I want to watch that fight. Like I said, it's a good fight. It doesn't matter how old are you. Benavidez is 40 years old. Almost, I think, or something like that, and look at what he did. Bernard Hopkins was 40 something too, and look what he did. So I think they just got to stay focused, disciplined, and shock the world.
And just so I clarify my statement, that way you understand what I was trying to say. I guess what Tim was saying is Tank. He was saying Tank was giving him this vibe that Tank is a 30-year-old prospect because Tank hasn't fought tougher opponents. So I just want to make sure you understood what I was trying to say.
Yeah,
He
no,
was
I
saying one
understand.
number 12. Okay, okay.
Yeah, no, I understand, but that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, whoever's fighting, the age doesn't really matter. To me, in my opinion, it's. I mean, make the fight happen. And let's see what happens. Like I said, I think that everybody deserves a chance, and some people takes a long, long time to get an opportunity, and maybe they can shock the world.
There you go. So I was speaking to Robert Garcia last week too, and he shouted you out. He said, Benavidez is a good friend of mine, and I was like, look, tell me this. I asked him the Tank Roach question, and his response was a little different. He just said he thinks that Tank should challenge himself. He said he doesn't understand why Tank wouldn't come up to 140 and fight Rayo. When you were still with and around Rayo, working with him, was that? Go ahead. It sparked the thought. What came to your mind when I said that?
Well, I asked for that fight. I had the rematch. Like I said, right now I can't really talk about a lot about Rayo because he has a lawyer. We're in a legal process because of Rayo. If he would have called me, we would have settled everything easy, quick, and whatever. But I had a rematch for Rayo for Pitbull, but there was talks about him fighting Tank. So I was working on that fight already. So after that, I stopped, and I mean, I'm not longer doing anything for that. But I I think that would be a great fight.
How serious or involved did those talks get?
Very serious.
Man, man. What do you think kept it from actually happening? Was it the split between you guys?
Yeah, everything that's happening right now, like I said, so I just didn't continue, because there was no point for it. So But I think it could happen soon. That would be a great fight. You know, I think it's but those are the two fights that I was working on.
The two fights. Oh, Rayo Pitbull or
Yeah,
Rayo
yeah,
rematch or
yeah.
Tank.
And I was, yeah, and I was working on those two fights. Yeah,
How do you think that fight would have
I saw
actually?
confident. Yep.
How do you think it would? So Rayo told me because I saw him in New York, right? And when I asked him the same thing, I said how serious was it? He downplayed it a lot. He was like,
Uh-huh.
"Nah, it wasn't that serious. It wasn't even the talks weren't that real." But you're saying it was very likely.
Well, like I said, those. Let me ask you something. Who do you think
Sure.
made that fight with Pitbull and Rayo? He was supposed to fight San. What is it? Fuck, I forgot his name. De Los Santos. He was supposed to fight De Los Santos, right? Who negotiated that fight with De Los Santos? Who negotiated all Rayo's fights? Who do they talk to about making those fights? Who do they talk to when they made the fight with him and Pitbull? So does it make sense? So I'm the one that talked to him, and then I talked to Rayo. You know, but like I said, that's what happened.
Gotcha. If that fight would actually have happened, or if it were to happen, what do you think Tank would have to deal with facing a guy like Rayo that he hasn't already dealt with in the past?
Well, I mean, Tank is a great fighter, man. He's adjusted to every fighter he has fought. Uh, he's very intelligent, man. He fought every style there is. That's a tough fight. That would be a tough fight for both of them. Um, like I said, but it would be a great fight for the fans.
Yeah. Do you still favor Rayo, or do you think it's 50-50, or what do you think?
I would say, it would be a tough fight. I wouldn't say it would be a 50-50 fight, but definitely maybe an upset, because like, come on, let's Rayo. I mean, he only has 12 fights, right? And Tank has a lot of fights, and Tank has proven himself. I believe that that's a tough fight. I would maybe do a 60-40 maybe, but definitely Rayo could pull up an upset.